taking up to 2 p.m. Stiles and Watkins, Nate behind the glass for us today. Kings, most excited games according to national media. Chris, what do you have cooked up for us?
This is from The Athletic. They rank the 35 games that they are looking forward to this season. Of course, we're not going to go through all 35. We're only going to go through the ones that involve the Sacramento Kings, and they are some good ones. 3 matchups in particular listed on The Athletic's 35 games to watch for this upcoming season. That I think is a nice thing for the Sacramento Kings to kind of get acknowledged there as a formidable opponent, and they do play a factor in all of these matchups. It's not just hey, I guess I shouldn't say that because 2 of them are Warriors and Laker games, but it is for a specific reason, and we will get into those in a second. The first one listed is DeMar DeRozan returning to Chicago, the game that I potentially might go to, but probably not. This is their write-up. I don't think this is going to be an emotional return. DeRozan spent 3 years with the Bulls, played excellent individual basketball, and constantly had the task of trying to drag the franchise to victories. The Bulls mostly struggled due to injuries, while DeRozan only missed 17 games in his 3 seasons. They also had just 1 playoff appearance. I'd still expect Bulls fans to be appreciative of the heroics in which he often displayed in fourth quarters. This will probably be an ugly game, which I think means they think the Kings are going to win that one. So That's great. That is the first game listed on the 35 games to watch for this upcoming season. The second one that the Kings are featured in is the battle for NorCal supremacy. Golden State Warriors at Sacramento Kings on January 22nd. That will be on ESPN. This is Zach Harper of The Athletic writing this one, saying, is this still a thing? I kind of feel like it's a thing. I chose the Kings for the home run, for the home team in this one, because I love a road opponent trying to prevent the team getting lit. But note that the Kings visit Golden State 2 weeks before on January 5th. If the Kings win at home, I love the pageantry of lighting the beam. The Kings and the Warriors have had some fun battles in the last 2 seasons. The Kings seem to be on their way up, while the Warriors are battling to not be on their way out. You get Curry and De'Aaron Fox. You get Green and Domantas Sabonis. If the Kings fans really want to troll Warriors fans, they can say Sacramento is a part of the Bay Area. There's a lot that can happen. Zach is clearly not from Northern California, because that is honestly, who do you think actually gets more upset in that debate? Bay Area people or Sacramento people saying that Sacramento is the Bay Area?
Yeah, I mean, I think from my perspective, when I was in the Bay Area, it felt like there was a time where there are some people from Sacramento, and they're never going to admit it, that they said that Sacramento was the Bay Area.
I've never met them.
That's how I recall this whole thing starting, because it had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
It's not Bay Area people saying Sacramento.
I think it started from outside in. I think people from the outside said Sacramento is a part of the Bay Area, and then I guess it is. Then I guess the answer could be nobody is on this side.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I just know that obviously it's not the Bay saying you guys are part of us, because that just, why would they do that, right? So how I understood
I guess.
How I understood it was, you're in Sacramento, but a lot of people are Niners fans. A lot of people are A's fans. A lot of people are Giants fans. And there were, I think what it is, to be honest, is, to your point, it's either people from the outside, or when somebody from Sacramento moves or whatever, and they talk to somebody, it's just easier.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't tell people when I was in Philly, I didn't tell people I'm from Concord. You know what I mean? I would just say I'm from the Bay. I'm
San Francisco,
30 minutes
Oakland,
away from San Francisco. And I think when you're in Sacramento, people are like, oh, you're from the Bay Area? Yeah, around there, Sacramento. Yeah. And I think that's how, and then it got back.
To get lost in translation.
It got back to I think, and then it turned into, I think you're right, people that aren't from the Bay saying, oh, Sacramento is part of the Bay from this one guy that I heard or whatever. And then the Bay Area people saying, no, Sacramento's not part of the Bay. And Sacramento people saying, we never said we were part of the Bay. And nobody knows where it started, where, because I'd be in Philly and I would legitimately say I'm from California, Bay Area and someone say, I got a buddy in San Diego, maybe you know him. No, that's 7 hours away.
Can I actually ask? I've never thought about this angle. I understand why people in Sacramento don't want to be considered part of the Bay because their thing is Sacramento's its own thing. The Bay definitely is its own thing.
Yeah.
Why do people in the Bay have an issue with it being called part of the Bay? Because it's not like it's like Sacramento's not a dirty town.
No,
it's not like we
that.
don't want to be associated with Sacramentans. Like,
yeah, I don't know, and I don't even know how big of a deal.
But I guess that's always kind of a Bay Area argument, right? Is like, where does the line end?
I mean, they try to kick everybody out. Yeah. I mean, they'll try to say if you're not near a body of a Bay Area body of people will try to say Concord.
Right.
You know, they'll argue anything isn't the Bay Area, and they'll try to kind of shrink it down. But then somehow everywhere in the peninsula is obviously the Bay. I'm like,
right.
We're going pretty far down. We're going pretty far down. So I think it's just, it's really just what it honestly is. It's people in Oakland and San Francisco trying to gatekeep where is the Bay Area. That's really what it is. If you're not from San Francisco or Oakland, I mean, even when I did shows in San Francisco and I would talk about being from Concord, I mean, they would say, okay, well, I mean, you from the East Bay. Yeah, which it is called the East Bay, but okay, we gotta be something.
Somewhere. Yeah, exactly.
We have to belong somewhere.
Northern California.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, again, we've talked about COVID here, but we're still not trying to get political. I do think that, people will say, hey, you don't get the Bay Area claim because when you go to buy property, you don't have to deal with Bay Area prices. Sure. So if you're going to get
that anymore,
I mean, it's getting close, but I do think that that's part of it as well. We got to deal with this garbage, so we're not going to let you have it, but not have to deal with Bay Area price. So I think it's a lot of different things.
It's got layers. Yeah.
I don't think it's a matter of anyone necessarily looking down. And then going back in the day when the whole Cowtown thing and everything else, I think that whenever I bring friends out to Sacramento that are from the Bay Area, it's definitely not what they expect. Yeah. And I do think that there is a level.
It's changed a lot the last 15 years.
I think there's a level of this everywhere. I think there's a level of this when it comes to Oakland. You got friends that, I'll say, okay, well, there's this cool place to go in Oakland, but they want to go to San Francisco. Even though you could do the same exact thing. So there's levels to it everywhere.
Is it just easier to say like anywhere that Bart touches pretty much? Or does that even get complicated?
Hey, Bart goes to Concord.
It does.
And North Concord.
Yeah.
And that makes the most sense to me.
That's what that's just always kind of been my baseline of like, if Bart touches it, then it's Bay Area regional transit. What are we doing?
Was your area code or zip code in a Keek the Sneak or E40 song? Or Too Short.
But then Sacramento gets involved,
But they'll say the Bay, and then they'll say
feels like
somebody is saying from 916. Vacaville is not even considered the Bay Area.
To me, that is where that's where the battleground state is right now. Like Vacaville to me is never. It's like it makes sense.
They need a home,
but it also is definitely on the line. To me, I'm okay with Six Flags being the cutoff.
It should be
Fairfield then.
I think Fairfield is close enough.
That's Six Flags, right?
No.
It's technically Vallejo. It goes Vallejo, then Fairfield.
For instance, they say, for instance, if you have YouTube TV and you put in your Vacaville zip code, you pick up Sacramento news stations, not Bay Area.
Yeah, my grandma lives up in Fairfield, and she gets Channel 3, Channel 10,
gets Sacramento.
All of it. She gets Sacramento news.
See?
Yeah.
Thank you, 916.
Yeah.
And they get 1140.
They definitely
get
do.
1140
in the Bay. You go up to Reno, you can get 1140.
You go to the middle of the Pacific, and I think you get it. I'm not joking.
You might be able to.
You can get 11, but here's the thing: you get 1140 in the Bay.
Yeah, you do. And we get 680, and I think we sometimes get 95 out here, but I don't know. It's not super strong. Yeah.
It's not the same.
It's
definitely. Vacaville, man.
Yeah.
That's a fun one.
Vacaville is definitely the middle ground. Anyways, wrapping this up. Thank you, Zach Harper, for the nice little sidetrack there.
Yeah.
The other two on here, NBA.com also listed 10 games, or I think it might have been 15, 20 actually. 20 must-see matchups as well. This matchup is listed on there, so I'll read them as well. They both list Anthony Davis versus Domantas Sabonis, Sacramento Kings at Lakers on October 26th. My birthday. Love it on NBA TV. The Zach Harper Athletic write-up is, this is a reminder that Davis has never won an NBA game against Sabonis. That's one of the weirdest streaks out there. Sabonis is 10-0 against Davis, dating back to when Sabonis was on OKC and Davis was still in New Orleans. In 4 of those 10 games, Davis has made fewer than 40% of his shots, including the last 3 matchups. The Kings and Lakers are already battling for positioning in the West, and they have a bit of a history against each other, one could say. This adds a little extra spice to these games. NBA.com's write-up is another ex-Bull. This is a different angle. This is actually interesting. Another ex-Bull figure is featured in this night's last game, with veteran wing DeMar DeRozan joining the already offensive-minded Kings and hoping to make a move in the West. DeRozan, one of the league's best clutch scorers, was coveted by the Lakers, who ran back a largely unchanged crew dependent on soon-to-be 40-year-old LeBron James and big Anthony Davis. So the Athletic is taking more of the Sabonis versus AD angle and the Kings-Lakers history. NBA.com is more pointing out the Lakers definitely tried to get DeMar DeRozan this offseason and actually bring DeMar home, and the Kings were the team that actually ended up getting him. And so that could definitely lead to a lot of frustration from Laker fans, especially if DeRozan gives them a nice 30-piece. I can't wait, and that will be so great to hear Laker fans get upset about it.
Well, he's going to cook. And that's funny that you kind of the piece ended with that, because we heard that the Lakers didn't really go after DeMar DeRozan. Yeah. So the whole thing is, I think the muddiness and the cloudiness.
The fans probably wanted DeMar more than the organization actually approached DeMar.
But I do think that but you can't tell me, I mean, and I'm not trying to get into Laker talk here, but you can't tell me that some combination for what the Bulls, people were saying that the Bulls lost, and I know you had the Spurs involved, but you can't tell me it's some combination of Rui Hachimura, not even Austin Reeves could have got you DeMar, D'Lo. I mean, the Bulls, they want to be
HB and
2031. D'Lo's a perfect guy to just, hey, let's be a little bit respectable while we're tanking. Yep. We can mask. He's a great mask.
He'll win us like 4 games.
Exactly. And that's what the Bulls. So it's weird to me, and maybe it was the Spurs because it was a 3-team deal. So it's weird to me that the reports were that they didn't really go after DeMar DeRozan, which I think makes it even better.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I mean, the 2 options are that they didn't give enough, which would disrespect him.
Right.
Or even better, they didn't even look at you.
Didn't even try to.
Now, Chris, we finally get on the other side of the stupid CJ McCollum. I didn't draft him. Now we get the revenge game.
I guess the Lakers didn't want me home.
Yeah. Yes, they didn't want me home.
That's crazy. Know?
And Kendrick's going to be in the building too.
That's right. Oh my.
You know he's going to be there.
That would be incredible.
You know he's going to be there.
That would be absolutely incredible. Must-see TV.
Coming up next, a viral superstar throws out the first pitch at a Mets game, and Mets